Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we are finally doing Ask Me Anything. Originally I wanted to do this because I figured I was getting to 10,000 subscribers, and that meant I was officially a proper YouTuber. The downside is I'm having to do this before I get to 10,000, so if I don't get there, this was just going to sit in my studio app waiting for the day I actually hit 10,000. So this could either take a while or it will happen really quickly. So I asked my community, my members, to ask me anything they wanted to know, either about Hell Let Loose, me, the channel, channels, streaming, anything like that. And we're going to get started with the strangest question, and it was also the first question by They Think I'm Mad, you know. Thanks for the question, you strange bastard. I can see why you have that name. Would you rather fight a bear-sized duck or 5 duck-sized bears? So naturally I needed to know the parameters of this fight because I'm not a fool. So I asked if I was bare-handed, fisticuffs, or do I get some kind of weapon? And he replied with, bare-handed, of course, you are a gentleman after all. That is true, I am a gentleman. And when killing animals, I use my bare hands. So I had to think about this. I've been thinking about it for 4 days. I'm not going to lie to you. And a bear-sized duck is terrifying, because a duck on its own could probably do quite a bit of damage anyway. Let's be honest. Their beaks, the pecking, the whacking, the flapping of the wings. Probably not as much as a swan, but still, I feel like they could do a bit of damage. Now, increase that thing to, what, like 6 foot? I assume you mean like a brown bear or a black bear. Something quite sizable. You probably didn't mean a koala bear. So with that in mind, that's essentially a dragon with feathers, isn't it? And I don't think I could take on a duck that big, if I'm honest. Like, unless I could get onto its back and start pulling at its face, punching, poking, you know, try and like snap its neck. But that's going to be tough, let's be honest. And if it takes flight, because given its size, it could probably pick me up. What if it just takes me up to like 50 feet, 100 feet, and then I do manage to kill it? I'm plummeting to the earth like a asteroid. So, or a meteor, sorry. So that didn't seem like a great option. But then you've got 5 duck-sized bears. Now, an average duck is, fair enough, not that big, but they're bears. So you're essentially fighting slightly small badgers, which are a vicious predator. And bears can move quite quick anyway, but they're small, so they're going to be moving quicker. They've still got the teeth, they've got the claws. However, I feel like I'd fare better against the 5 duck-sized bears because I can stamp. I can stamp hard and I can stamp quick. I've practiced, I know. That's what the 4 days have been about. I've been training. So I reckon I'd go with 5 duck-sized bears and just hope that I can stamp all of them into nothing before they get on me and start crawling up me. It depends on how the fight goes. Are they going to surround me first? Are they just coming out of a hole? You know, I could probably boot a few of them back first, deal with them, try and deal with them one-on-one, you know, as one comes out, kick, send that one flying, kick another one until there's only one left, stamp that one to death and let them come back. If they start overwhelming me, kick them, kick them, kick them, keep them away. It's all in the feet. So yeah, 5 duck-sized bears. I've not prepared for any of these questions other than that one, so I don't know what I'm about to say. Next question. The Real Bean. He's had to put that in his name because we've had some imposters over the years. Evil Bean, shall we say. So that's just so we know he's the right bean, because we can't have any more situations like that one. Do you have any pets? If so, what? How old? And can we get a picture of them, please? Yes, you can have a picture of them, but I don't have any pets currently because I live in a flat where they don't allow dogs, and I'm allergic to cats, so I'm not getting a cat. I used to have a border collie. I got him when I was 5 years old. His name was Mac. He was my best friend. I loved him to bits, and I still think about him all the time. I used to feed him out of the fridge. My parents hated me doing that, but I always felt like if I was sneaking a snack, my boy should get a snack as well. So I'd be sitting there just eating slices of ham out the fridge, and then I'd just sling one over my shoulder because I knew he was there waiting. But he was fast and strong. We used to take him for walks, and obviously you know, he's a border collie, so he needs a good walk, a good run, keep him active. But we lived in London. We weren't really near any huge parks or anything, but there was one park that ran right next to a train line. Big fence or anything. This isn't a sad story. This isn't how he died or anything. And basically the trains would go past at really high speeds, and he loved it, so he would chase the train all the way to the other end of the park. You're talking like probably like a mile and a half to the other end of the park. He would run all the way down chasing it, and then eventually another train would come back the other way, and he would run all the way back again, and we'd only have to walk the park twice. He'd end up running like 10 times. He was absolutely shattered by the end. It was great fun. It was really good when two trains came at the same time, both going, you know, obviously opposite directions. He had no idea what to do. He just freaked out, ran around in a circle, and then just gave up. It was good fun. Love that dog. But when I move, if I move ever, and I get a garden, I will be getting another dog, and I will be flooding the Discord with pictures of the beautiful pooch, whatever it may be. Moving on, Chunky Nugget 8008 YouTube question. What do you enjoy editing the most, and what do you enjoy filming the most? Editing the most, I like doing gameplay videos where usually it's like a squad, so either us or like dedicated squad, or if it's a bunch of randoms. As long as anything like wacky is happening in it or there's lots of action, I like editing those into something both stupid and funny but also cinematic at the same time. If that can actually be achieved. It probably can't be, which is why they don't do very well. But I do like editing those the most, because you can edit like an action scene into something that feels like really over the top Band of Brothers style, but then you can also edit these weird conversations that we end up having, and just like, I don't know, it's just funny to me. I end up just like laughing whenever I edit like our conversations or conversations with randoms, and just try and make whoever's watching it feel the way I felt while having that conversation. And the same with like the action scene. Like if I can make someone feel the way that I felt while I was doing it, then I've done my job. Doesn't always work, obviously. Filming the most, probably the same, I'd say. I like playing with our squad. I like playing with randoms. Or I do quite like doing horror games. Again, they don't do as well, but I just enjoy like recording horror games. I think that's quite funny to me anyway. I'm moving on. Eugene the Medic. What a lad. What do you enjoy more? Streaming or... Oh, sorry. Let me read that again without sounding like an idiot. What do you enjoy more? Streaming a game or cutting an offline session and turning it into a video? That's part one. Let's answer that. I quite enjoy streaming a game because I like the interaction with the viewers. As like something crazy happens or just a random conversation sparks, it's very fun and entertaining. I quite like that. And it's one of those things like if I somehow manage to pull off something cool, or like a clutch or something like that, people are there watching it and they can tell you if they actually thought it was cool. So that's fun. I quite enjoy that. Offline sessions are still great fun if you get a good time, but sometimes like the game just isn't happening, or all you're doing is recording like B-roll stuff to go in the back of a commentary video. It's not always as fun, and it depends on the game. So I'd say streaming is probably more fun, but I do love editing and recording like that. Are there any war games you have been wanting to try or have been suggested to you? Now, I've been suggested a lot of games, a lot of war games, and I've tried most of the ones that have been recommended. Not always enjoyed them, unfortunately. That's no one's fault. That's just, it's just me. I think the one that's probably been suggested the most, which is probably why you asked, you cheeky little man, is Foxhole, because I keep seeing your gameplay, which is great fun. I think that's like the only other war game, really. I guess that's World War II. There's not really many other like war-based games that are kind of on the horizon, on my radar, or that have been suggested to me that I think fit that. So yeah, Foxhole's quite interesting, but I don't know if I'm someone that has the patience for that. I think the latest one that got recommended, but I'd already had my eye on it, was Armor Reforger, which I made a video on, and that was fun. I enjoyed doing that with Elmo. That was good fun. I need to go back to that. It's probably what I should have been doing today, but I had to do lots of recording because I wasn't able to do it during the week. So I've mugged off poor Elmo on this Saturday doing this. I hope this makes up for it. Probably not. Next question. Limp Noodles 13. How many average hours a week do you edit videos? That depends on the week and how many videos I have to do. It depends on the length of the video and how much extra stuff needs to be put in it. I mean, it can range from like 4 hours to 8 hours sometimes, depending. Like, for instance, the last like Hell Let Loose gameplay video I did, like proper gameplay, was that probably took me about 10 hours to edit a 20-minute video. But there was lots of little things I had to do, and there was different perspectives to add in. There was lots of little effects that I was doing that, to be honest, I don't think anyone even noticed, but I wanted to make sure they were just right, so that took a lot longer. It's not always that long, but 4 to... yeah, it depends on lots of things. Let's narrow it down a bit. Let's say 4 to 8 hours on average for a video, but that's usually broken up in between like my lunch breaks and the evening when I'm not streaming, stuff like that. So that's kind of an answer. What is your personal long favorite vid? Let me read that properly. What is your personal favorite long video and short that you have made? Personal favorite video. Now there's one, and not many people saw it. It's probably one of my favorites. It was back when I think me, Rex, and Jada had only just met, maybe a couple of weeks, and we were playing, and clearly none of us really wanted to play the game properly. So we were just pissing about, and I edited the video. Like I was doing a Scottish accent for like 5 minutes. You're going to the front, lassie, eh? Like, it was just one of those really balmy videos. But at the beginning of it, for some reason, I decided to put a truck chase that went on for like 2 minutes, and I think it turned everyone off. I thought it was hilarious. It clearly wasn't, but if you take that out, that video is actually great, but it's just us being dumb. That is some pure sass running right there.
Oh, my chest is burning!
I think my other favourite, in terms of like what I actually enjoy, I like the one where we were all squatted up together. I think I called it like Teamwork something, or This Is How You Should Be Playing Hell Let Loose. That's what it was called. And it was Rex, Chunky, Elmo, Mesu, Eugene, and you. You and Eugene were in a tank supporting us, and it was just such a good game. But the video, like, I feel like the video shows how much fun that was and how the games can change when you are working together like that. So I think that's one of my favorites. Short, that's a really hard question. I don't know. Like, the ones that I think... Oh, you know what? I do know what it is. Because, again, it was a bunch of us all playing. It was absolute chaos. And it was just one of those really stupid ones. But it's actually kind of good. But it's, like, hidden in nonsense. I need to find it. Hold on. It's called Nothing Like a Bit of PTSD on Kursk. Someone came to the door as I was talking. Yeah, Nothing Like a Bit of PTSD on Kursk. I'll put it on the screen now. Camp it out. No! Oh my god, it's making me wince. No! 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 Oh, you son of a... God.
Literally every time.
Oh god! Don't talk to me! I'll kill everyone if you talk to me!
Someone say something inappropriate.
Oh my god!
Wait, every 30 seconds.
Naked men make the penis the big penis.
Wait. Wait. Oh, I didn't make it! Oh god! Oh, I'm gonna have a panic attack. I just found this one hilarious because of like the absolute chaos that is happening. Like, it's me frantically trying to survive this fight, running through a house, whacking people, like absolutely incredible gameplay, but I'm panicking because that would normally be something that I would edit out my voice and just keep the gameplay, because it's, you know, it's arguably good gameplay. But I just found me panicking funny, and I thought others would find it funny. But then I also realized when editing that Rex was just talking absolute nonsense in the background, and no one was paying attention to how much of a panic I was in. No one cared. No one was trying to help me, and I'm freaking out, like borderline hyperventilating. And it just, something about it just tickled me so much, and I was like, you know what, that's got to be a short. And it done reasonably well, actually, so there you go. There's that. That's my favourite short, I think. What are your favourite on-stream memories? Probably the first like maybe 2-3 weeks of Lethal Company when that came out. That was an absolute hoot. That was really fun. And I think my other favourite memory is the first time someone donated money to me. Not because I'm a money hoarding piece of shit. It was just a very nice feeling to have someone go like, here, you've done well. And then I think that encouraged Elmo and Casey to become members. And they were my first members, and that filled my heart with joy. And then that also encouraged someone else to do it, and it kind of steamrolled a little bit. And that was really nice, because that was the first time any of that had happened. So I think that's probably one of my favorite memories. And again, not because it was money, but it's like what the money represents and symbolizes. You know, I'm trying to make myself sound better than I actually am. And why am I your favorite member? For incredibly evocative questions like this, Limp. And because you're a beautiful person. That's why. Connor Duncan 9859. Google him now. Sorry. What has been the best and worst thing about getting to 10,000 subscribers? Well, this answer might change if, when the video comes out. The best thing has been, I don't know, nothing's really changed. We'll see. We'll see when we get to 10,000 if anything actually changes. It's always nice getting lots of subscribers and people watching my videos and stuff like that. So that's nice. You would hope that that means more people watching them. So fingers crossed. The worst thing has been getting to 10,000. I mean, overall, just doing the YouTube thing I don't want to sound like I'm moaning, but it is hard work. The sheer amount of time you have to put in, I think a lot of people don't realize. Because when you're like big and you're like 100,000 or 200,000 subscribers, I imagine you can make that your full-time job. So that is what you're doing to make money, to put bread on the bathtub and such. So I would imagine that's maybe less stressful. I'm probably annoying someone if there's someone with 100,000 subscribers watching going, you fool, you have no idea how hard it is. But, you know, if that's your sole job, I imagine it's easier to manage. Whereas now, 10,000 subscribers, you know, I don't make anywhere near enough money to even like drop one single day of work. So that's been rough. Having to do YouTube, making videos, editing, streaming, stuff like that, while also having a full-time job and a kid, you know, doesn't leave a lot of time to do it. Luckily, my wife's absolutely amazing and doesn't mind me spending time doing this, as long as there is a nice kind of balance at the moment. But it would be nice to have this as my actual job, and then more time with family and stuff like that. And then he said, congratulations on making it to 10,000. Joke's on you, I'm not there yet, Connor. Now 25,000. Yeah, alright. Alright, mate. Calm down. Let's get to 11,000 next, yeah? Small baby steps, right. Hell Let Loose question from Elmo Gone Wild, the big man himself. Do you prefer Axis or allied weapons? This is obviously a Hell Let Loose question. Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm probably going to go Axis, because yes, you only get a Kar 98K in most of the default sets, but once you unlock the other ones, you know, you've got the MP40, which is strong. The STG-44, yeah, it's not in many kits, but it's an absolute beast. There's no denying that. You've got the MG-42, which has 0 recoil. Rate of fire is insane. So you've got that. You've got the Gewehr, which is a bit harder to master, but it's a much better than the M1. The difference is on the Allies you have more M1s. It's the default weapon, so they have an edge with that. But yeah, you've also got more bullets than the Gewehr, and the I think the Axis weapons look better. That's just personal opinion. If you could add a weapon, equipment, vehicle to the arsenal, which one? Weapon? I would like the suppressed Sten introduced in some capacity. I can't remember the name. It's like the Mark 5 or something like that. But I want that because I think you could do something interesting with that without it becoming too strong. Equipment. Bayonets. I don't know if that counts as equipment, but add bayonets, the ability to put bayonets on weapons that are suitable and allow you to stab people with said bayonets. Yeah, that's what I'd do. Vehicle, I want a motorbike with a sidecar. I don't care how stupid or impractical that is, I want it. Yeah, that's my answer. I'm okay with that. Additional questions. Alright, here we go. This is going to get spicy. Only knees cam stream. When I get an office, I will do an only knees cam. Maybe. Probably. Stream recording with McWaifu. I've actually spoke to her because I did see this question. And I didn't prepare for it other than that. And I was like, I'm going to ask her before I record this to see if she actually would be up for doing it. She said she'd be up for doing a recording with me, but not a stream. I think she said she'd get too self-conscious about streaming in front of people, but she was like, I'd happily do like a recording on a co-op game or something like that. So now I'm just going to try and find the best recording game I can, set that up and see what happens. If it's absolute shit, you'll never see it. You'll never see the light of day. If it's hilarious and we're arguing the whole time, you'll definitely see it. Will you wear wigs in general, like in my day-to-day life or on my stream? Because you'd never see it. I have worn wigs before, but only for fancy dress. If it's for streaming, maybe, because that would be funny. If I ever get a face cam, I might wear wigs and a helmet and a hat. Raw bacon, no. Who's the coolest YouTuber? And you've put brackets, you. Thanks, man. That's cool of you to say. I will take that question as my favorite YouTuber, and I'm not going to be a simp and say Chunky or Eugene. I know it will wind them both up that I didn't say them. I'll say who. Okay, I'll change it a bit so I'm not self-serving, but I'm also not serving them. I'll tell you who influenced me the most. Well, it's two people really. In terms of YouTube, one is Jack Frags, because I've watched him since 2013, and I always like the content he put out. Sometimes it's a bit generic, I guess, but his style of like videos, like playing with mates, and then also doing like commentary on games or thoughts about upcoming games and dissecting games. I quite enjoyed that, which you can see in my actual channel is kind of what I'm doing. But another one that really made me think like, oh, I could at least try and make it more my own and have my own personality in it a little bit more, was a guy called Ragtag. He's from Scotland, and he primarily does Apex Legends videos, or at least he did. He's kind of branching out a lot more now. But he kind of started with this idea of being really toxic to the people of this game, which as you can see, a big influence, where he would drunkenly review people's gameplay. They would send in like what they thought was a good gameplay clip, and then he would be hammered and just rip the piss out of them for it. And then eventually he was like, I have to stop drinking because I'm doing myself damage by doing this. So he stopped the drinking, kept the toxicity a little bit, ripping into people, and then he kind of shifted to being a lot more like chill and open-minded. And you'd think that would turn a lot of people off, but it actually made people like the channel more and like him more. He's a very, very sweet man. He does this series, or he used to do this series called Apex Tales, where he's considered himself, he has labeled himself the king of the gutter tier in Apex. So he's the best of the worst. And his tales are always about how shit he is, and then something cool happens, or something funny happens. Something like that. They're always really entertaining videos, and I quite like that style as well. He puts a narrative to what you're watching, and he narrates it, which I tried to do myself, but I'm not as good as him, so that didn't always work out. But it did inspire me with like that kind of narrative storytelling, which you don't see as often these days. But he's also like classically trained opera singer, and he likes metal, and he used to be a fireman. So it was all like he was quite a big influence to me when my channel was in its infancy, and you can kind of see some of that influence in the style of videos that I do. He unfortunately had some health related issues recently, so he's been taking it easy, but he pops up every now and again. It's always a treat to watch him. I'll link him down as well if you ever want to watch him. It's good fun. And that is all of the questions. So that's been me waffling for quite some time. I'll edit it down a bit so you don't have all the silences maybe, but yeah, if I've actually made it to 10,000 subscribers, you'll be watching this video. So thank you very much for everyone who has been supporting me by liking the videos, watching the videos, sharing them. Obviously everyone that's joining the Discord and chatting on there, it's great fun. And a massive thank you to all the channel members here on YouTube. You guys are incredible, supporting me for so long, especially when things weren't going so well and I was ill. And you never wavered. You kept me strong. Thank you forever for that. Thank you very much. Yeah, if you guys actually enjoyed this and want to ask more questions, leave them in the comments for this, and if there's enough, I'll do another one. Why not? It's good fun. Any questions you want, kind of. I mean, if they're really dodgy, or I can't answer them, I'll just ignore them. But I'll try and answer everything if I can. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll catch you all in the next one.